And her game was done so fast. So I was like, is the game over? She was like, yeah, I won. It was easy,
Yes, yeah.
So yeah, very experienced player on this deck. So I am very, very excited to see how well she can perform here.
Yeah, you know what's fun too about Melissa, and I know this is not just her, this is so many players in the room are huge Disney fans, right? So that is how Melissa actually got into the game. And I've had conversations with so many players that is how they got into Disney Lorcana. So Warwick Dungy is our second player over here on that Sapphire Emerald deck. We have our players now getting ready to jump into the game, looking at altering their opening hand. Of course, it's still closed deck lists right now, so they do not know what each other is playing. But what do you feel, how do you feel this matchup is going to go between that Emerald Amber deck and Sapphire Emerald?
I think Amber Emerald can come out of the gate swinging,
so strong,
very, very fast, make a very, very wide board. Maybe Warwick is going to be looking for something like a one-cost card into a Tipo, into a Shift Baymax Under the Sea. But I think overall, Under the Sea is going to be the key card that is needed. Of course, Shift Clarabelle can help out a little bit. But if Melissa's going to be emptying her hand quite fast, maybe the Shift Clarabelle's not even going to be that good in the end, right?
Yeah, that's the thing with Amber Emerald is it can go so fast. It can build a wide board and really get underneath this Sapphire Emerald deck. It does look like Warwick is on the play here, inking a Clarabelle and playing a Clarabelle. That shift target, that 1-2, and off to the races we go.
I actually have to say as well in this particular matchup, if Melissa is running the Emerald Chromicon, this one-cost Clarabelle is one of the few cards within the meta. I think people often forget about the ability of this Clarabelle, right? You can actually, when it comes into play, you can pay 2 ink to banish chosen item.
Yes, yeah, and that could actually come into play here if she is on Chromicon or if she's on Scrump. I'm not sure what Melissa's deck list is made of. I know there's a couple different variations. And we have that Tipo Growing Sun coming out of at all-important ramp on turn 2.
Ramp on turn 2 is extremely important within these Emerald Sapphire decks. It leads you into establishing quite a nice 4-cost card, maybe even a 3-cost Clarabelle Contented Wallflower. Therefore, there are multiple shift targets for the 7-cost Clarabelle Light on Her Hooves.
Yeah, that Lilo Escape Artist is that glittery version.
It
we
looks
have
gorgeous.
2 characters coming down here on turn 2. We have Lady and this Merryweather.
Yes, I believe Merryweather gives a little bit of a strength buff. But again, it's just a super, super, super solid card. You can go very, very wide with this Amber Emerald deck. We are going to see, okay, this might be one of my favorite plays. I do this all the time when I play Emerald Sapphire. So what we've just seen is Warwick already ramped on turn 2, but is able to play a Sail the Azurite Sea double ink to get to 5 total ink, and also play a Clarabelle Contented Wallflower. So as I mentioned, you have these 2 shift targets now, but suddenly you've ramped twice. So even if there's something like a John Silver follow-up against something like Amber Emerald, it's going to be very, very strong here.
Yep, having those shift targets. And that means that if one Clarabelle goes, he still has the other one there for that shift. Oh, Ursula coming down, getting rid of that Under the Sea. Ursula Deceiver, a fantastic card. When you play this 2-cost character, you get to look at your player's hand and discard a non-character card of your, or song card of your choice. And Under the Sea may go...
That was so crucial. I can't believe that, honestly.
Oh, and there's that shift Clarabelle. We were 1 turn away from him being able to play that. That would have decimated Melissa's side of the board.
Absolutely crazy. I think it's like I have to say props to Melissa for kind of recognizing, okay,
heads up play.
Getting into the shift line play. If the exact 2 cards in hand are these, I need to establish the Ursula to potentially get rid of that Under the Sea removal card.
So instrumental here to keeping her board control. She has such a wide board. I know we've talked about this across the stream, that now that Be Prepared is out of the picture, you can see these boards getting really wide, staying there, setting up. She hasn't quested at all yet, still sitting at 0, but she doesn't have to worry about that Under the Sea now as well. So she is sitting pretty, playing out that Lilo from her discard.
Indeed, yeah. Now, I did see one of the cards picked up by Warwick. It's going to be a Shift Baymax, Universal Shift Baymax. So that might help out with a little bit of challenging when it comes into tackling Melissa's board. But Melissa can go extremely, extremely wide here.
With that tramp coming down, the 7 costs, but you pay 1 less for each character that you have in play.
This is actually the 2 cost, but now this is the 7 cost. Yes,
excuse me.
Yes, it's the enchanted one. So this tramp is the one that you're able to buff a character strength by however many characters you have on the board. But yes, this 7 cost dual ink tramp, I have to say, in my opinion, is one of the best cards within this Amber Emerald deck. Super, super great. You're able to draw many, many cards, and you get to kind of fuel your discard. It synergizes really well with the Lilo Escape Artist too, right?
Melissa going through all these cards, figuring out what she wants to put into the discard.
Oh my
Why
God!
not? Why not?
Absolutely amazing. Let's play a free 2/6 that quest for 2. Why not, indeed? That's amazing.
Wow. That is incredible. Now we're questing. This game is swinging fast here for Melissa, going from 0 all the way to 6.
Okay, so what is picked up here? I can see another Shift Clarabelle.
Again, that giant robot is in his hand
Yes.
as well.
Yep. Yeah, I do believe like if somehow Warwick had another shift line available and an Under the Sea, yes, would be able to clear Melissa's board, but only has access to the shift line currently. Warwick is really going to need to start digging for another copy of Under the Sea. And the interesting thing here is Warwick does feel like they need to challenge because Melissa's representing a lot of lore on the board, but all Melissa has to do in response is, okay, I can quest a little bit, but as long as I take out this Baymax, or maybe alone just take out the 3-cost Clarabelle, then singing Under the Sea is no longer possible, and I can just keep questing with the rest of my characters to win the game.
Interesting. We have that Shift Clarabelle going into the Inkwell on Warwick's side. I do see that that one card that he has left in hand is the John Silver, Alien Pirate. So him valuing...
Yeah, valuing the card because it's pretty good against a lot of these aggressive decks with that reckless ability. But I think, honestly, at this stage, Melissa's board is so wide, and she is doing a fantastic job keeping up the pressure for Warwick. Warwick really needs to deal with this big board. And as I said, I think Melissa... Yes, I think this is a fantastic play by her here.
We need a top deck Under the Sea on Warwick's side, I think. Is there any other way he can get out of this right now?
I don't think so. And this is the thing. It's a huge play by Melissa, recognizing we do need to take out the 3-cost Clarabelle, because if it's not taken out, then the top deck Under the Sea could be utilized. But right now, even if Warwick finds it, it can't be played.
Can't be played.
Yep. Super, super interesting here. I do actually have to give a shout out though to Warwick. He's a very, very good player. We did see him at the recent Cardiff CCQ last weekend, was also featured on stream. So 2 very, very strong players here. But Warwick decides to scoop, say, yeah, I cannot come back from this game.
I cannot. Warwick was on the play this game, so Melissa able to take the win on the draw, which is huge for her.
Huge, yes.
And it's going to go to game 2, I think, especially because, of course, these rounds are timed. Warwick said, let's call this a game and get into game 2 so that I have as much time as possible to come back from this.
Definitely, yeah. And I think that's very, very important for time management. Usually, sometimes it's a little less important in the aggro matchups, but it's more important to recognize, yep, I just cannot win this game. Like, even playing out an extra 5-10 minutes, that could be time that you actually need in your other games, right?
Absolutely. Yeah, and I've talked to players where if they've done that, oh, maybe I can come back just 1 or 2 more turns, and then they weren't able to, but then they lost that time and weren't able to, have the time that they needed to get the win in the end. Now that the players know what each other is playing, especially for Warwick, what do you think he's looking for into his first opening line of play?
I believe that what Warwick's going to be looking for is that Under the Sea as early as possible. But again, Melissa has the answer in the form of the Ursula Deceiver. So again, I really have to say, I've been thoroughly impressed by Melissa throughout that entire game, recognizing the perfect turn to play the Ursula, but then also towards the end, not letting Warwick play to their outs. If he was able to find that Under the Sea, that was the only way they were coming back from the game. So Melissa, clearly an extremely experienced pilot of Amber Emerald.
Yep, players opening their altering hands now for game 2. Melissa putting back just 2.
Okay.
I didn't see how many Warwick altered in his opening hand, but I know that he's
looking for ramp.
Looking for that ramp.
Yeah, usually ramp is the most important thing. But as you mentioned, yes, now that he knows this is an Amber Emerald matchup, could really be aggressively altering for the Universal Shift Baymax alongside an Under the Sea, but it's also so tricky knowing that Melissa has that disruption available too.
Yeah, and on these decks, the Sapphire decks with that ramp, so important. It's really spending those first few turns setting up for your larger characters and cards that you want to bring out, which leaves so much room for Melissa to just come underneath that deck. And it's, yeah, not a great matchup, I think, here for Warwick. So he's going to have to work hard to keep Melissa on the back foot.
Basically, yeah, like he needs to have the perfect cards available. And it's not even like, so similar to like the Amber Steel matchup against Emerald Sapphire, what ends up happening is, you know, they don't have access to disruption tools like this 2-cost Ursa. So it's a very, very different game. But a huge shout out, this Pluto coming down with the good boy ability. You can exert him to pay 1 less for the next character you play this turn. And honestly, I've been thoroughly impressed. I've seen a lot of players messing around with this Pluto, and he's really, really impressed me.
I love Pluto. He is an uninkable card, so you do have to be a little careful there with balancing your uninkable cards with your inkable cards, but a really fantastic ability. And I'm going to be so interested here to see, what do we bring down, Melissa? We're going to exert 1 to play Lady.
Lady comes down.
That Lewis, we haven't seen him come and play yet, but I
haven't seen Lewis. I think Lewis is very good in some other matchups for sure, so it makes sense to put into the inkwell. Going to play the other uninkable Lady here, and very, very smart here from Melissa, valuing protecting that Pluto, does not want to exert it because Warwick could have used their Clarabelle and their Bobby to challenge in and banish that Pluto.
Yes, Pluto, of course, having 0 strength, and so Warwick could have safely taken out Pluto and kept his characters on the board. And so a very, very good call there from Melissa to keep him ready. And to, I mean, I think it's when do I turn my cards sideways for her. It's, I don't have to quest every turn. I can set up and choose the right moment. And that's what we saw last game from her.
Indeed, yeah. And we see the Pleakley come down here. Very, very nice from Warwick. Pleakley is a card that's not played in every Emerald Sapphire deck, but it works quite well. The more 1-cost cards you place, we've seen the Bobby, we've seen the Clarabelle, and it's just another tool to ramp quite efficiently. So I'd be very, very curious. We can see that Warwick has 1 card left in hand. If that's something like a John Silver, that could give Melissa a little bit of trouble next turn.
Yeah, Pleakley also a 3/4 character, so
good
really great stat line. And you know, he put Bobby Zimmerowski into his inkwell, so not only do you get your ramp, but it's like, I would much rather have a 3/4 character on the board than this little guy. So yeah, really great stat lines there, and he's. I love
He's a fun guy. Pleakley's a very fun character. Yeah. So we do see this 2-cost tramp come down. It actually costs 1 because there is a lady on the board currently.
Exerting our Pluto to get that ability, it looks like. So, are we doing Tramp?
It's,
we
my, I'm telling you, this card is the centerpiece of these Amber Emerald decks. It's so strong.
So normally it would cost 7, but there was 4 characters on board, and using Pluto's ability, so she only had to pay 2 ink to put this tramp out on the board.
Absolutely amazing. Yeah, and this card is just so strong at filtering for like the perfect cards that you need to kind of close out the game, right? For example, if you're in like a mirror match, you need something like an Under the Sea to answer their board, or maybe you need that little bit of gas. I mean, we just saw, right? Maybe playing Tramp into finding another Tramp, into finding, and then suddenly you're playing these 2/6s just for free because you have so many characters on the board.
This is a fun game to watch for everyone joining us. We're here at the DLC in Bologna. This is round 10, and we are in game 2. Melissa took game 1, and Warwick now playing that Vision of the Future. You get to look through 5 cards, and he only has 1 card in hand, so I know he is really looking for some answers to Melissa's side of the board here. What do you think he's looking for?
It's a couple of different things. I did see John Silver was one of the options available, but unfortunately, currently only at 4 ink, so even if they ink the card in hand, does not have enough ink available to play the John Silver. Maybe something like a Shift Clarabelle could be okay here. Could ink for 5 Shift Clarabelle, use that to take out one of Melissa's opposing characters, and then the Pleakley could also challenge. Unfortunately, it's the Donald Duck. Not really what Warwick wants to see here, but at the same time, maybe Warwick wants to play this and say, you know what, I'm maybe recognizing, again, my only out is Under the Sea. I need as many cards as possible to try and find it.
Yeah. What do you think, though, about... So his ability here is that each player will get to draw a card, which is feeding Melissa more characters.
Yes.
And I don't know if that's puts Warwick in the best position to be giving her more characters.
Yes, it's very tricky. Okay, the Ursula comes down. It's not...
He has a Hades in hand.
Hades in hand, indeed, yeah. The thing about the Donald Duck, you actually make a very, very fantastic point, because a lot of the time this Donald Duck's really weird when you're against such an aggressive deck, because, like you said, you don't want to give them more cards, more characters to play around with, but sometimes desperate times call for desperate measures, and you really need to just find that under the sea yourself, because as the board gets wider and wider, all of these characters, they are still only 2 strength or less. So as long as you find the under the sea, at least it deals with the current characters on board.
Yeah. Warwick has 6 ink right now, so hopefully he will get an inkable card there. He can maybe play the Hades. If he does, what's the target here?
Very, very, very good question. What is the target indeed? Probably something that Quest for 2. I'm going to suspect it's this Tramp. It's just a 2/6. It's so big. And then that means that they still have the option to use like the Donald and the Pleakley to take out the 2-cost Tramp and that 1-cost Lady.
Yeah, heads held high going into the Inkwell, and we are playing that Hades. And like you said, you were exactly right. It's that Tramp saying, sorry, you can go into the Inkwell. Yeah, the other amazing thing here is Melissa is still sitting. She was on just 3 ink, and that Tramp made it her 4th ink.
Yep.
This deck is doing a lot on very limited resources.
For sure, yeah. I've seen some games of Emerald Amber where they kind of sit at 4 ink, and sometimes they just go, like, they just keep replaying Lilo, keep applying the pressure, and sometimes they can close out games like that. And the biggest reason why is because of these 7-cost Tramps. They get reduced so much that you don't need that much ink. Usually this deck it might even cap out at 4 or 5 ink, and that's all you need.
Yes.
Yep. So on Melissa's side right now, we do see, I believe that was a Lady Miss Park Avenue, I want to say. Oh, actually, it could be another 7-cost Tramp,
I think it might be that 7-cost Tramp. We are replaying Lilo from the discard. She might do that.
Yeah, so...
Is it that Tramp?
It could be. It is the Tramp in hand, so
she could use
ink.
the 2 ink.
Yes.
If she uses Pluto's ability.
Use Pluto, exactly. Yes,
okay,
yes.
it's a Bobby Zimmerowski, so it must not be that Tramp.
And another very key card picked up here from Melissa, the Go-Go Tamago Darting Dynamo with the Stop Whining Woman Up ability.
She played that Bobby Zimmerowski, and then Tramp coming down again. MVP of this Amber Emerald deck.
100%.
Truly.
Yeah. And we also get to see, we've seen the Pluto in action so much this game, right? Pluto putting in some work right here.
Pluto has been here since turn 1, and I think that one of the reasons is that Melissa has turned him sideways at key moments, and so he's been able to stay on the board. I know that Warwick was wanting to get rid of some of those higher lore characters, and questing again here, Melissa just with a huge lore lead.
Yeah, so Warwick triggering the Donald Duck ability.
Another
can get to another Hades in hand. Yeah, the cards that Warwick's kind of looking for, of course, we want the Under the Sea, but maybe something like a Vision of the Future could be the card to find the Under the Sea. But right now, might only have the option to just play another Hades Infernal Schemer. And Melissa is very, very quickly building up that lore advantage. It's currently 13-1. She's representing a total of,
9.
Let's have a quick, 9.
9 lore
my
is
God.
on board. I was just counting, and that, I mean, this is game here unless Warwick can do something. Of course, he does have some characters like that Pleakley and Hades who could take some characters off the board, but he's thinking, what is the right move here?
I think if there is another Hades available, it sounds a little bit crazy, but you know what card it might be? It might be this Lilo. Oh, it's an enchanted Hades as well.
Yeah,
Absolutely gorgeous.
So great. I cannot tell you how many players I've talked to that are just incredibly happy to see that Hades Infernal Schemer getting the enchanted treatment. It's a card that has been a fan favorite since the first chapter, and I think we are all very happy to see it come back into the game with that fabulous alternate art.
Yes, so yes, I was going to say, I think a card that seems a little bit weird, but Hades could also potentially send a Lilo to the Inkwell, and the reason why you would want to do that is that turns off Lilo's ability to keep returning from the discard pile. However, I think in this situation, it made sense to get rid of the 7-cost Tramp, because in this particular situation, Warwick left the Lilo on board, so there's no risk of like it being in the discard and kind of being replayed right now, if that makes sense.
It does. It does feel like a shift in the game here, though. What do you think now, Melissa?
Oh, go,
There
Tamago,
she
gaining
is.
2 lore off of its on-play ability. That means Melissa's going to go up to a total of, I believe,
18?
like 18, 17,
She-
18?
Yep,
18,
she
yep.
will be at 18 here. She does have Gogo representing 1, so even if Warwick is able to take care of Bobby and
And a daisy.
and a
Oh, my
daisy.
God. It still looks like
Oh.
it's under the sea or bust here right
this
now.
is under the sea.
Yeah.
And
2 cards
2
drawn.
cards
I
from
think
that
one was a
Donald
vision.
Duck.
I might be wrong. I think 1 card is a vision of the future.
yes, you're right
Mm-hmm.
there. We're playing that. We get to look for 5 cards. Do we find under the sea here? This is the moment for
4,
Warwick.
5.
I
It's a
don't-
okay. Sail. So Sail
Okay,
could be
Sail
played to draw another
Sail
card.
We could look at one more.
Whew.
He is looking. What is in his hand? He's
He is
what?
digging
Oh.
very deep right now.
Which Sapphire's great at doing
Yep.
that. Sapphire can dig through your deck so well, filter through those cards, help you find the answer. But under the sea is the answer that he needs right now.
Indeed, yes. I wonder if there's any other card draw options as well as Sail the Azurite Sea in the hand. It looks like it will. It's another vision. Absolutely huge.
Yes.
You went
Oh,
under the
he
sea.
gets it.
He got it.
He got it.
No way.
Okay.
Whew.
Wow.
Oh my God. What a tense situation.
This-
Found the card that he needed.
Melissa probably knows it. I can see the look on her face. She's like, he found it. Going through 10 cards. 10 cards down in his deck. Found that under the sea. We had only seen 1 so far this game. So this is going to be a nice little turning point here. It looks like Warwick is doing some questing. No, we're singing.
Yes.
We're singing.
Under the sea
All
with
of
the
them.
Clarabelle and the Hades. Yeah, this is very important as well because, like I mentioned, sending Lilo to the Inkwell, putting Lilo at the bottom of the deck also turns that ability off from the discard pile. However, Melissa does have a very important out here. All she needs to do right now to just win the game on the spot is top deck another Go-Go. and it's
Go-Go
her
would
game.
do it.
Yep.
Go-Go
Yep.
would be the go-ahead card. She has 2 cards in hand.
Yeah, Warwick still has a mountain to climb. Currently only on 1 lore to 18. Wants to make this board as wide as possible. Let's see what Melissa can do here.
Wow. Being able to pull another vision off
Yeah.
the vision was huge.
Huge, absolutely huge. Yep.
We are finally getting in some questing here.
Yep.
He's been sitting at 0, going up to 6. Melissa at 18 lore. She has her own under the sea.
Wait, is there a Go-Go in the discard pile? If there's a Go-Go, I did just see that the 5-cost Lady Miss Park Avenue was picked
that
up. So
can
if that's
bring
played
back-
at least next turn, right? At least next turn, I'm not
Yes.
too sure. I think one might have been sent to the discard. There
There
is
she-
one.
Yep, there is
There
one in the
is
discard.
one. Oh my word.
Oh
So just
my
going to have a look through the
goodness.
different 1 and 2 cost card options. I'm going to have a quick count of Warwick's lore here, because that's very important. I don't believe there's enough lore represented on the board to
9.
represent game at the moment. There's 9 on board, would bring him up to a total of 15. So there's 1 out here for Warwick, I think. There's only 1 out, and that card, in my opinion, is bend to my will to discard.
Yes.
To discard the
right.
Go-Go. I think that might
That
literally
is
be it.
the only answer.
Yep. Because if not, Warwick would have to somehow like bounce at least this Pleakley and this Hades to remove the cards that have damage on them.
I really think as much as that Donald Duck has helped Warwick, I think it has also
Yep.
helped Melissa being able to play that Lady Miss Park Avenue. That was huge, bringing that Go-Go back. And we're counting up our ink here.
Yeah, I can't see much else besides the bend to my will. I'm not even sure if it's played in the deck, because I know there are a couple of Emerald Sapphire decks that
yes.
aren't playing it, right? It's usually 1 copy.
One
and
copy.
I mean, we also didn't get a lot of a close look at the Vision of the Futures. It could have been bottomed with the Vision, right?
Yes. We have Bobby
Bobby.
Zimmerski looking. That's another under the sea, which will not help here against this lady.
Yeah, just has to discard that Donald Duck. We got the under the sea when we don't need it
When
at
we
the
don't
moment.
need it. Yeah, he needed it earlier, but oh man.
I don't know what else can be. I mean, some crazy stuff like sing your welcome on both the Pleakley and the Hades, and then also try to remove the
Basil.
lady. Okay.
Okay, so he brought that Hades back to, but he doesn't.
Can't do anything about the Pleakley, right? That's the game. Oh,
That
my
is game,
word.
and that is match. Melissa taking the win there with that fabulous play of Amber Emerald, that Tramp MVP of that deck. That was a